What's up, traders? Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital, coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is August 30th, 2021. Today we're going to walk through the price action, the indices. We'll go through some of my trades for today, and we'll talk about the setup that I see forming into the rest of the trading week. Before we get into all that, quick risk disclaimer: nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. Last but certainly not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades, and don't YOLO your account into anyone's trades. That is not smart. All right, let's jump into the video. Okay, for today's price action, let's take a look. We're going to go from the current slide. There we go. All right. Box scores. S&P 500 is measured by the SPY, up 0.44%. We had the NASDAQ QQQ up 1.12%. IWM was our big laggard for today, down 0.41%. And the Dow Jones, the dogs of the Dow, they were also down 0.14%. And today was the first day of this rally that I will say was suspect. It was very suspect. So here's why. Today was the first day where the breadth really just kind of fell apart. So SPY, we had 49% advancers into the close. And you might think we probably had a ton of advancers. The market was doing pretty well today. A lot of names moving to the upside. But in reality, less than half. And then the QQQ, which was our big leader, a very fantastic day at 1.12%, had 69% advancers. The IWM only had 33% advancers, and Dow Jones, positive breadth but a negative performance, up 0.52%. So let's jump into the price action. And the S&P 500, we hit our target here of 45.30. We hit this R1 pivot level off the monthly value area. At this point, though, are we very extended from the 20-day moving average? Yes, we are very extended. Are we very extended from the 5-day EMA? Yes, we really are. So we're in a very nice trend. This is awesome price action, but this is sort of thing where if you were super freaking out down here, but now you're super euphoric up here, buying everything, that could become problematic, if we get any sort of, little pullback in the market. So just, it's important to be cognizant of, what you're carrying, when you're putting it on, etc. NASDAQ. So this is the one that I really found was suspect. I actually shorted the NASDAQ today. So NASDAQ, also really strong price action, also very extended from the key moving averages. And check this out. So this is our monthly value area. We're about to enter into a new month. You can see this new value area forming. So that's well and good. Value is migrating higher, which is great. But check out this hourly chart. Excuse me. So on this hourly chart, this right here is our weekly value area. And what we can see is, we're pretty extended on this hourly chart. So we have, I was taking a look at the QQQ earlier. We'll jump over to that one. So the Qs, we already hit our R2 pivot level, because the Qs is really what I'm trading. So yeah, we're very extended from this 20-hour simple moving average. And yeah, I rarely ever see anything, this is our weekly value area. This means most participants last week transacted in this price zone. So it pretty much means everyone that transacted, or the majority of participants, are in the green very nicely on their NASDAQ. At a certain point, it's when will people take profits? Typically, historically, in the market, if you can hit that R1 pivot level, that's fantastic. Mission accomplished if you're long. If you hit the R2 pivot level, that's wow, whoever bought last week, they're looking really in good shape. I rarely ever see something go to an R3 level, or really beyond this R2 pivot level. It's very possible, maybe it does. There are some good looking names in the NASDAQ. I'll never say never, but we're just very extended away from this. The other thing, on that note, let's go over to the NASDAQ QQQ. And we'll pull it up on FinViz. So the QQQ, yeah, really nice move here. This is awesome. But pull up our Bollinger Bands. Let's just slap these bad boys on the chart. You'll see that we broke cleanly above the 2 standard deviation Bollinger Band. We practically tagged this 3 standard deviation Bollinger Band. So we are very overbought. And for me, it's like, do I want to be buying the NASDAQ? You know, when we're at like a 3 standard deviation up day from the 20-day moving average, why wouldn't I have bought it here, 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 or here? Like the last like 7 candles. Like if you're buying it now, you know, it's just very poor trade location. It's the worst trade location we've had in, you know, these 8 or 9 trading days. And then the other thing that was very odd was, so we're very overbought in the short term, and maybe it just resolves with a little correction in time. But the other thing that I noticed was the NASDAQ Volatility Index, which is the VXN. The VXN printed a positive day. So we were up 2.91% on the NASDAQ Volatility Index. So that's a divergence. And that pretty much tells me, you know, we might be overheating here. Where, you know, even though market's moving up, you know, the volatility of that market is increasing. So that definitely has me thinking that, you know, at this stage of the rally, you know, things look a little suspect. The other thing that's kind of interesting, so this is like more like a secondary thing, but CNN Fear and Greed Index, this is our first time hitting greed in maybe like a couple of months. Like it's very odd. So like once the Fed said, hey, we might start tapering, and they really like put that in everyone's conscious, like tapering is coming, everyone was going crazy buying puts. Everyone was going crazy getting tail protection. Everyone was going crazy, you know, being worried about the market. Now, all of a sudden, we got the confirmation that, hey, we're ready to start tapering if the jobs report on Friday is good. And now we're just getting like this blow-off rally in the NASDAQ. So it's very odd. To me, it seems like it could really be like a blow-off. So we will have to see what happens. But that's really what I'm seeing. Like, this looks different. Okay, so let's check out our Finviz heat map. And yeah, some of these names, you know, had fantastic performances today. But what you'll notice is really like the big performances all came from the mega cap tech names. So we had Apple up 3%, Facebook up 2.15%. This was a name on our weekly watch list for Pristine Capital members. Tesla up 2.67% and Amazon up 2.15%. So let's check out our sectors and we'll just go a little bit deeper. Sectors. So we had the blockchain assets, which are our top leader, up 0.63%. Let's go, team. So I'm mostly allocated in cryptocurrency, and I've been that way really since the cryptocurrency market started crashing. This is like a lot of my chips are placed here. So just to go through some of those, HUT, this is a name I added, I believe, on Friday. This is a cryptocurrency miner, and this one, you know, having a really good performance as Bitcoin and Ethereum lift higher. Check this out. So Bitcoin, we are trading above the 20-day simple moving average, looking really solid. And now we're above the 200-day as well. Like, this is shaping up to be a really nice trend. You know, unlike the NASDAQ, is Bitcoin incredibly overbought? No, it's right on the 20-day. This is actually like a decent trade location to enter a long position. Then we have Ethereum. This is my largest holding by far. And Ethereum is trading up to the upper end of this range. We've been shaking out below the 20-day moving average. So now at this point, you know, we talked about this when Ethereum was on like the power run over here. I was saying like, I don't want this to go parabolic, because when things go parabolic, that's when you can get like a really big topping process. And when those parabolas break, they can really break, where, you know, you get like basically a crash, like what we got originally in Ethereum. So I love that this made its advance, and now it's had a really nice sideways consolidation period from August 7th. It's not even that long, to be honest, but in trading terms, this is like 10 years. But yeah, so from August 7th all the way up to today, you know, just some nice sideways movement. So now, you know, and it really looks like we could be ready for that next leg of the advance. But I certainly don't mind just kind of like consolidating, building out the momentum in this sideways base. All right, so we have those blockchain assets had a good performance today. And then let's go. So other than blockchain, okay, so what was also pretty crazy. So let's look at the real winners today. Real winners were solar energy up 2.38%. And there is going to be some funds that are diverted to clean energy with the new infrastructure bill. So that started to make sense. Solar energy, it's moving towards the top of our list in terms of momentum. Then we also had a strong performance from KWeb. Wow, so solar energy was our top performer? Geez, I didn't even realize this. And then KWeb was the number 2 performer. So I'm long Futu. And we can just talk about this one. So, KWeb, I think there's something a little bit different happening with these Chinese names. Where, we got some news over the weekend that, China's now cracking down on video gaming for minors. So now, if you're a minor, 18 or younger, I think you can only game, I think it's 1 hour a night. And maybe a little bit longer on the weekends, but it's something very restrictive where it's kids essentially can't be on video games that much. And, a lot of these names in the morning just dumped so hard. But it's crazy to see that, the KWeb ETF actually finished the day up 1.39%. So what that's telling me is, look at the long lower wick on this candle. That's telling me that these Chinese stocks are once again being accumulated. So look here, you can see it a little bit closer, but yeah, long lower wick. And the names that really, were at the heart of this whole sell-off, the Chinese education names, they started bouncing today. We also went over this in our pre-market webinar. This one was up 12.5%. Morgan Stanley upgraded these Chinese education names to a buy. So very interesting stuff going on. Futu reports earnings tomorrow. They report earnings before the open. I have an earnings trade on for Futu. It's a lottery trade. I have the 100 strike calls on the books. So we'll see what happens with Futu. I mean, this is a Chinese brokerage company. Really strong sales growth numbers, really strong earnings growth numbers. Did a lot of homework on this company. They are expanding into wealth management. They're expanding into other international markets like Singapore and now the United States. And yeah, I saw an interview with their CFO. Seems really on the ball. This name, I think it's solid. And now it's trading, at such a discount compared to the historical range. Let's pull this up. So before this last leg lower, this was the range. And now with the close today, we're right at the bottom of this box. So we're at the bottom of the range. And this one, honestly, I had 2 trades on in Futu, and I actually got stopped out of one of them close to the open because it was just dumping so hard off the open. There was some volume that came in and really just slapped this one lower. Yeah, you can see over here some volume came in, and then more volume came in and bid this thing higher. So yeah, Futu, this one is definitely on my radar. For tomorrow, obviously, because I have my trade on. And then I also added some Pinduoduo. Let me go back to the daily. And then PDD. I added some of this one as well. This is another one that reported earnings a few days ago. And it's been just pulling back on light volume. And this one, actually flipped green today. So looking pretty solid for Pinduoduo. All right, so let's go through our style factors real quick. Style factor. So for today, we had the growth style factor leading up 1.04%. And then we had defensives and min vol leading. So that's telling me, hey, this isn't a risk on configuration. Where you have just those 5 tech companies, everyone just piling into them for dear life. And everyone, selling their high beta, selling their momentum, selling their cyclicals. It's not the most risk-on thing in the world. So yeah, that was another kind of sort of a yellowish flag. We'll see what happens though, because some of these FANG names, I'm not gonna lie, they're looking really solid on the charts. So I try to never be oh, and now my bias has flipped short. Now I will never be along again, or like whatever. For me, it's just like, you see a statistical relationship with the Bollinger Bands, try to take advantage, but Tesla's looking pretty fantastic. So check this out. Tesla, if I'm wrong on the NASDAQ short, say it just keeps just running through that 3 standard deviation band, maybe this one will be one of the culprits that's pushing it. Tesla had a ton of call volume come into this name today. And check this out on the weekly. We had a fantastic run in 2020, and now we've just been consolidating those gains for the most of 2021. So could this name actually start lifting off and reclaim those prior highs? It's definitely possible. And then we have some of these other names like Facebook blasted off today. I mentioned this one was on our watch list for the week. Blasted off to new highs. Apple blasted off. So right through that pivot, nice clean break above the pivot to new highs. Netflix also. This one, wait, did this one break out to new high too? Okay, not a new high, but it did break beyond this prior pivot level. So yeah, a lot of these names, they're really moving very well. But it seems kind of odd that they're like the only winners right now. So we'll have to see what happens. Let's go through. We will take a look at some of my trades for today. Let me just grab a screenshot of these. And I think we did kind of go over a lot of what I did for the trading session, so I'm not going to spend too much time here. Let me see. So I'll go through. Oh yeah, so I mentioned I stopped out of one of my Futu positions. And this one, put Chinese spaces imploding after the new regulations. Should have closed this when it couldn't hold the 20-day SMA. So that's what a shakeout it was in the morning. I was like, man, I should have done this differently, whatever. But Futu ended up bouncing into the close. I also had SE. This one was a really nice mover. So SE, I had some September 17th 320 strike calls. I closed those out for 23.10. I had paid 13.55. So that ended up being a really nice winner. And that was good because in the morning I was coming under fire with some of those Chinese names. So this really, balanced me out, really helped me in the morning. So SE closed this one out for about like a 70% winner, which is cool. SE, take a look at this. I've been tweeting about this one quite a bit. So this is a classic volatility contraction pattern. And really what it is like, as a technical trader, I'm looking at the supply and demand within the stocks. So it's kind of funny. A lot of people, they knock technical trading, and it'll be like economists that knock it. They're like, how could you trade without knowing economic data? It's like economic data is really just getting a gauge for supply and demand within the economy. Why not just gauge the supply and demand of the thing that you're trading itself? So yeah, with this setup, pretty much what we had was we were trading at new highs, and you can see the supply in this name was drying out, meaning we were having a bunch of volatility, deep pullbacks. Like, look at how deep this one was, deep that one was. Then they started to get more and more shallow. And then the highs that we were making were pretty much equivalent highs, but more and more shallow pullbacks. So that's telling you over time the supply of shares in that name is drying up. And we just got to this point over the last 7 trading sessions or whatever it was, where it's like, it's not a matter of if, it's when. Pretty much. So you never know. It could have just been a fake out, but pretty much the sellers just couldn't take it down anymore. They were pretty much running out of ammo. So I closed this one out. I got out pretty much on the high of the day. So this one was a nice execution, nice winner. And I'm going to keep watching this one. Maybe tomorrow trades in the wick. So we had that. And then I got short the Qs over here. So I got some September 17th 379 puts for 396. I was able to take a quick target at 408. So closed out a third of my position for a small winner. And then I entered a limit order to add back the target if the Qs advanced even further. So this was a pretty good execution where it was like, okay, took a target on this position, but then I noticed we had more room to go to that R2 pivot. So I noticed when I took my target, I think I took it like on one of these drops. And I was like, but they always run it up to the pivot level. A lot of times the pivot becomes almost like a magnet. So I was like, let me take a target, and then if it gets up there, I'll add it back. So I was able to add it back. So we'll see what happens with this Q's short position. And then what else? See, I did that. I got long the PDD. And then, yeah, some trades towards the close PayPal. I got long some PayPal, some coin. PayPal, this one is could be a nice trend reversal. So PayPal, they announced that they're going to be considering, right now they have crypto trading, which is very cool. I love PayPal. And, they do credit cards, they do a bunch of financial services. Now they're going to try to allow for stock trading as well. So that's a pretty big headline. The stock really moved on it. Look at this relative volume. This dark green bar, look at the size of it compared to some of these other bars, very big. And we crossed, now we're above the 20-day moving average. We're also above the 50-day moving average. And we have this gap over here. And the gap would be closed at 296. So I was like, yeah, I'm getting long some PayPal. So I got long some PayPal calls. Also got long some Coinbase calls. This isn't my favorite name. Definitely not. I really don't even like Coinbase. But there was a headline that came out that the SEC was going to potentially not allow payment for order flow. And that's how all these companies, they do the zero commissions, because you're not paying a commission, but your orders are being fed to like Citadel, and they're front running all of your orders. Coinbase, one of the major detractors why I don't like this stock is because, right now they make a lot of their money from crypto trading commissions. And I was like, those commissions are just going to go to zero. But if that payment for order flow was to be removed, Coinbase, I think, would benefit from that, because then they're going to keep charging their commissions. Their whole business model wouldn't just unravel. And then also just the crypto assets, they're looking super bullish right now. So you got long some coin as well. And then for some stock trading, what did I do over here? Let's check it out. We'll just go through a couple of these. I don't want this to be like a 40-minute video. I try to keep it as short as possible, because I know people, they don't want to be watching it forever. Okay, so Beak. This one I got stopped out of at 9:37 in the morning. This was one of my Chinese names that, I was under attack team in the morning. Like, I really thought, like, maybe, we're just going to blast slower in all these China names. So I did stop out for a larger stop than I usually like to take. Usually I try to keep everything like very tight. With this one, it was just the floodgates opened. So Beak, this is not really showing any relative strength. Anyway, my stop out point and validation point for my trade was if we moved below the 20-day simple moving average, and we did do that. So yeah, took my stop there. I closed out 20% of my DigitalOcean common shares for $61.45. I had paid $51.02 for those. And DigitalOcean, I love this company. It's a cloud name, and unlike Cloudflare, it's not trading at like some ridiculous valuation. Like now it's probably trading at like 18 times sales or something, whereas Cloudflare is trading at like 60 times sales. And this one is really nice. It made a new all-time closing high, team. And this is my original trading plan for this trade. And we exceeded, my most bullish, wildest dreams. So I want to keep, just holding on to DigitalOcean. If it dips, I'm definitely interested in buying more shares. But yeah, I just took a target in my DigitalOcean. And then I tried this RS common stock. And yeah, it didn't really work into the close. I think I took like a 1% stop loss on this one. And that about does it for my trades for today. Let's take a look at our options order flow. Let's check it out. So this is the VigTech platform. Shout out to VigTech. I love their software. Okay, so we have, let's check this out. Options races. Let's check it out. Look who jumps into the lead. Amazon. But look who takes the lead. Tesla. Goldman. What? How is Goldman in the lead? And then Mickey D's also was on here. Jeez. So a lot of interesting names I don't normally see. Square was on here. Yeah, this is like a complete reshuffling. So Goldman Sachs, what the heck's going on there? Oh wow, yeah, this one got pretty harsh red candles. Maybe people were buying the dip there. And then we had Tesla SPY. This SPRT, everyone is just short squeezing the heck out of this one. So this is another element. How I was saying the rally seems a little bit suspect. Typically, like towards the end of a rally, you'll get the crazy short squeezes where it's like, well, all the good stocks have gone up. Like now we have these shorts on their back foot. Let's just squeeze all these shorts. Look at this one. It has a short float of 41%. And, you know, these players, they just attack these names. And, yeah, this one was up 38% today. It is up, you know, in the last month, it went from $7 to $36. Oh, my gosh, it went all the way up to $60. That's insane. So, yeah, typically when this crazy stuff starts happening, that's like, typically it's not at the beginning of the rally, but anything is possible. That being said, that about does it for options order flow, and that about does it for this recap video. Appreciate you all for watching. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with anyone you can. Really appreciate you. And leave a comment down below. So comment, tell me which stock you are looking at into tomorrow's session. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.